Hi, everyone. I'm Hadeel Kabosh, a consultant at Cosmic Centaurs, and welcome to this very special edition of the Cosmic Conference. If you're joining us for the first time, Cosmic Centaurs is an organizational and leadership development consultancy, and this is our sixth annual Cosmic Conference, our way of learning out loud and sharing what we discover with the world. Every year, we choose a theme that reflects what's top of mind for the leaders we work with. This year, it's all about systems thinking. The idea that you truly create lasting change um, when you look beyond isolated problems and understand the interconnected parts and structures that shape them. If you missed our previous sessions, you can find them on LinkedIn, our website, YouTube, or your favorite podcast platform. Over the past few weeks, we've explored systems from every angle with incredible leaders, experts, coaches, and academics, from the foundations and practical tools of systems thinking to the systems that enable team and organization performance, innovation, measure, and deepen impact. And we even explored the human and spiritual dimensions that center the people and culture behind systems. Today's conversation is an extra special one. While most of our discussions have focused on organizational systems, there's another system that many leaders, including the ones joining me today, navigate every single day, and that's parenthood. Parenthood is a system of its own, just as complex, ever changing, and deeply demanding. And today we're bringing these two worlds together, work and parenthood, to talk about how working moms navigate between them every day, creating the systems and support structures that help them lead both with intention. I have to say, I couldn't think of a better group to have this conversation with. I've always been in awe of how our center moms seem to do it all. And working in a fully remote team, I've had the privilege to see this balance play out in real time, handling school pickups or toddler negotiations, in between leading teams and facilitating client meetings with focus and flexibility. So today, I'm thrilled to hand the mic to our incredible mom centaurs who will be sharing their stories, strategies, and lessons on how they've built and continue to build systems that help them thrive in both worlds. Faten, Mary, Marilyn, Tala, Zeinab, thank you so much for joining.
Thanks for a great intro, Hadeel.
You got us all emotional. Great start.
This session is designed to be a conversation just for everyone tuning in. But if you are a parent or parent to be listening in, please feel free to drop your thoughts, questions, and reflections, and we'll keep our eye on the chat. And I just want to start us off with a bit of a warm up of how it all started, this system of parenthood that you transitioned into, and what it means to each of you. My first question is, how has your system shifted when you first became a parent? Mary, maybe you can start us off.
Yeah, I can go ahead. I think every new parent, the first thing they realize after they have a newborn is that how much routine and structure they need in their day, and how much the days start to look the same because you have to have like routines for eating, for bedtime, for napping, etc. And then you start structuring your day around it. So I would say that the first thing that changed is the amount of structure and routine that I had to install in our lives.
Tala, I also know you had thoughts on this question. You want to share your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I think we were joking how like everything you know about life in the world goes out the window, and then like you just basically like you enter a new level in a video game, and you have to rebuild yourself as the character. You have to like redesign everything around you. So I think like what I honestly found is that most systems that previously served you no longer will, and they all need a rethink. And a bit different to Marie, mine wasn't still routine based, naturally, as the type of person I am, but still very much like important to have a sense of structure to preserve your sanity. So yeah, I'll leave my answer there.
Fatin, I'd love to hear about your transition to parenthood.
I think the notion of time was big for me in terms of starting with the end goal, which is an event or an activity, and then planning back on when you need to prepare and when you need to step out. I think that was a big shift for me. And I thought I was organized, but it took a whole new level once I became a mom. So yeah, that notion of time and structure was big for me.
Maybe I can add something to it. I've experienced all of these different shifts, the same one, like the system breaking, nothing working anymore, the need to find the new ways of working, so to speak, for myself and my household. I think maybe one of also the really, really, really big shifts that occurred for me as a parent is I started prioritizing a whole new range of outcomes in life. Things that I used to think were important became really secondary. Whether it was like making a mistake at work or not being perfect at something or whatever it was like, actually, none of those things matter anymore. And that really allowed me to let go of some of the things I had held myself accountable to before.
It does sound like a whole new world. Zainab, do you want to finish us off?
Yes, so previously when I was single, it was fully dedicated for myself the time. But now that I have a family, it was hard for me to accept that there are people that I need to take care of, that I need to cook, that I need not to be so much immersed in work. So it took me some time to assimilate this, but I ended up, I think, doing a great work.
You really did. If I can just add to that, I agree, Zainab. I think a huge shift was like, I'd always be like, what's for dinner? And now I get asked, what's for dinner? And I'm like, oh, I'm the one responsible for this?
Yeah.
How can we really outsource this? Like, usually I'm the one asking the question, and now I'm being asked that question. So that was like a huge shift for me to realize that.
I agree.
At this point of your time, how would you describe your current parenting system in one word? Faten, maybe you can start us off.
Continuously evolving. I mean, circumstances change, age, needs, his growing personality. He's really strong, opinionated these days. So just trying to evolve and be adaptable along his side, and that also matures my parenting system as a whole. So it's ongoing, never stops.
Tala, I see you thinking.
I'm
One word
just
to describe your parenting system.
uh I guess like I have to really agree it's adaptive in that like kids have different needs at different times. I have a 3-year-old and a 1.5-year-old, and they're at completely different stages of development, which means I need to be like a different parent to each of them based on what their needs are. In certain moments, right? So like it's just very adaptive. And you asked for one word, but I give you 100, but it's pretty me. So.
Definitely like +1 on Faten and Tala. I think also, as they said, like every time your kid changes, what used to work no longer works. But maybe if I had to pick a different one, I would say collective. I've abandoned this idea that I'm the person raising my child, and I seek for her to have a group of people and of adults that she can go out to and seek help, shelter, support, trust, hugs, and kisses from. And I'm trying to actively build that support community for her, especially living in Dubai, where it doesn't just happen because it's not back home, it's not naturally there. So I find myself rallying adults to be in her life all the time.
Actually, I saw this TikTok the other day that really stuck with me, and it talked about how, like, modern life and this idea of individualism has convinced us that we need to be independent and move outside the family home, only later to get help or even end up taking our kids to daycare. And the reality is, like, it literally takes a village to raise a kid, and that won't change. Especially for us, like coming from community-oriented cultures, we know that. And for those who are still close to family living in Beirut, it's more a reality. Um, so I'd love to talk about this more, like that support system that you have built to make it all work. So who or what makes your system work?
For me, it's my nanny. Like being in Dubai as an expat, I cannot imagine a day without her in the house because since I work also from home most of the time, I need someone to be there all the time with the kids. And I think that she's been of like the thing that allows me actually to have time to focus on work and also being able to attend to their needs. I think, yeah, she's today, unfortunately, that we're away from the family and the parents. She is the most important person in my system.
Shout out to your nanny. Marilyn, do you want to speak more about the supportive system that you had to build for Gabby?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, anyone living in Dubai, or honestly, even when I was living in Lebanon, like my mom had two jobs. Sila, our nanny that was there when I was growing up, was a second mom to me. So I really resonate with that. When you have parents who have to work long hours outside of the home and you don't live with your grandparents or other generations, then that just becomes your world. So first of all, shout out to the second moms who raise us. And I'd really say the same. Like I have a big support network around me. Of course, it includes Leeway. It includes Rhea, my best friend. Like actually, me and Gabby always fight about who Rhea's best friend is, whether it's her or me. And I think that's just wonderful because that means that she, without knowing what to call it, she knows that she has an additional person in her life that will make it work. I know I can count on Rhea to babysit, to come sleep over if I need her to. My husband, Hadi, by the way, I'm one of the lucky people. My husband takes on 80% of the really crappy parenting duties, like drop off and pick up. And he probably does nighttime routine more often than I do. I'm really blessed to have adults in my life who want to be very involved and don't just leave it up to me as a mom to take care of Gabby and to have to do all of it on my own. So, and by the way, all of you, I should say, I think that hopefully, like, we can show people as well how companies can be supportive of parents and being able to say, I had this big deliverable, but now my daughter needs me, and having, five people willing to jump in and take that on, and being able to shift the load. Like there's always different days where our kids need us, and being able to say, today is, I need to step away, and to have a group of people that can take that on is an absolute blessing.
Was nodding all along the way, Marilyn, because I relate to everything you just said when it comes to my mom being the support system and my rock. So after pickup time, she usually takes care of him until working hours are over. At the same time, my best friend is also here. So Bassam, khalas, when she's here, it's completely her time, and he doesn't even talk to me, and she takes on the full load. So and it really takes a village. And I remember the first day that Bassam appeared on camera and we had a call, you and I, and I became red and so bashful. And you were saying, it happens, just you don't have to apologize for everything, for anything. So I really relate to the fact that there needs to be more of a support system in teams and in companies as an overall.
I love that about our culture, like the normalization of your kids just showing up in camera and you being you, like in both your different roles. And actually, I that's a great segue to my next question. What kind of systemic support do you wish either organizations or society as a whole had, like more commonly for working parents?
Yeah. I can say that I love about I love cosmic culture, especially the fact that we can set our own boundaries. So, for example, it's the first time I see the option that I have the option to block my calendar and put, now it's nap time, now it's bedtime. So communicate it to the team. It's a rare opportunity that I find very useful. Also, the open communication, like to communicate to the team that at this time I won't be available, but I will catch up with you later. All the rituals that we can like that we do at Cosmic, that I personally also apply to my personal life. These are very helpful things that really makes a difference, and that really made a difference for me.
Thank you. That
Like,
means a lot. I mean, obviously, I feel responsible for all of this, but it's really beautiful that we collectively have been able to build that, and that we all feel supported. The other day, I was, someone in a meditation said, just think of how like you're lying down on whatever this floor and how your body is completely met. And that really stayed with me. Like exactly as much as my body needs to be on the ground is how much the ground is giving back to me. And I really think that building a system like that in this organization, that you are met wherever you need to be. And that sounds different for all of us as mothers. And that you find that whatever holes you need to make one way or another in your schedule are perfectly normal and flow, I think is a really beautiful one.
Yes.
You guys touched on the communication piece, like how you communicate your needs to the people around you, your team, maybe your manager. How do you communicate that also to your family? Is it a similar kind of system, or how do you communicate with the support system around you that's outside work?
So I think like I can say I'm 10x more assertive with my family than I am outside of work and with work sometimes. Like I have no shame. I'm like, I need you to be there to pick this person up right now. And it's like done, you know? But I mean, a lot of what I learned in work transcends beyond and back. So I think just being super direct, being super explicit, explaining why there's a lot of really more coordination than one would think involved in like having kids and activities and work and pickups. Like it's a very administrative role in some ways. And so like to design a system to then be able for it to operate independently removes so much of the mental load. So I would say that like communication is definitely direct and super clear, but beyond that, actually creating a way for that to kind of run so if you don't have to constantly be delegating and checking and following up, because that will happen anyways, right? Like sick kid, move a meeting, got to coordinate a play date, somebody canceled. So definitely communication, and then also designing a way for you not to be needed in some of the coordination that happens is like ideal, right?
And I'd love to unpack this more. Like, what does this balance really mean? Like, when we think about these two worlds and how they collide. I'd love to hear from each of you. Like, how has that definition changed over time, and what does balance really mean to you? Miri, maybe you can kick us off.
Yeah, I think I wanted to add to what Tala said about communication, that being also, like for me, like good at planning, I do it as early as possible. Like even if it's Monday, I would tell my husband on Thursday night, I would need you to do this. Or also if I'm going to Lebanon and like maybe 2 weeks before, I would tell my mother-in-law on these 2 days, I will need you to take the kids on. I think it's important. Like people around us are also happy to help, but it's good to give them a heads up as early as possible. I feel that will uh, create less stress on the system because like people are expecting that you will need them, and then I think it also shows that you are considerate of their time and you don't take their help for granted. Like for me, it's important. And on the balance, and I think like Tala said also, maybe take myself out sometimes when I'm not needed 100%. So being really okay with the fact that the kids do not really need you 100% of the time, and actually it's good for them to be independent, to be alone sometimes with other people, because that builds their character and they're not like attached to you all the time. So I think the balance that I was able to create is that being able to define when I am really needed, like when, like my presence is actually going to make a big difference, instead of feeling guilty all the time that I'm not present with them most of the time. So I think that really helped in thinking about the balance is, am I there when I'm like my presence is really valuable and important to them, versus like I'm not there with them, maybe with all the for the all the activities and for all the birthdays and for all the things that they go to. Actually, in most of the cases, they're happy to be alone. So that's what works for me.
I want to
That's
resonate with that, maybe Hadeel, if you don't mind, because I actually grew up in a single parent household where my mom had two jobs and I rarely saw her during the week. And because of that, and but on the weekend, when she was there, she was fully present. And so in some ways that liberated me as a mom because I felt so loved. Like even though I didn't see her 600 hours a week, as a lot of other kids could. And I'm sure there were moments growing up where I felt like, oh, my mom's not here, but their mom is always there. But I felt so deeply loved that it was never a question in my mind. And in that way, that liberated me today because I had that experience, which is very much what Marie is describing. It's like, when she was there, was she really there? Was she paying attention to me? Was she intentional about how she raised me? What did she think about the big conversations she wanted to have, or was she just like on the sidelines of things? I actually have so many like lessons of wisdom, intense memories, just beautiful ones, of someone who wasn't there Monday to Friday. I never saw her. Actually, my mom didn't let me sleep over at friends' houses because she used to say that's the only time she gets to see me is when I'm sleeping and she got back home. But still, I never felt lacking of anything. And that really gave me, the reassurance to do what Marie does, which is to choose when to be present. And just to answer that question, because I thought about I think about the word balance a lot. And I think for me, one of the most beautiful lessons has been about integration. So it has been about, how does becoming a mom make me a better leader, and what do I learn from there? The example I gave earlier about what is or isn't a priority anymore, I think it allowed me to give myself grace. Actually, you guys know that when I had Gabby, I had a new mantra, which was called 82% grace, where it was like, actually being a mom teaches you that you don't have to be on top of everything all the time, and you can bring that into your leadership. Like, you will get it wrong. She will stay in a dirty diaper a little longer than she needed to because you forgot to bring one, and everyone will survive, or whatever it is. And so I think the integration between those two roles, allowing it to make you grow as a person so that you can lead in new places, whether it's emotional or mental or spiritual, and having those two identities now become interconnected and see how they spill into each other, has actually been for me one of the most beautiful experiences.
Thank you for that, Marilyn. What systems have each of you built to help you master this balance? Whether it's a process, a ritual, a tool.
I think the rituals are very important. I stole actually one from Marilyn. I got inspired by it. So we started lately the no electronics on Sundays. So no iPads allowed, even for me and my husband. No phones except for urgent calls. So we will benefit from our Sundays and spend the quality time together as a family, and it really helps us keep us connected. Also, the feedback, receiving and giving feedback. So I'm implementing this on my family processes. So I always encourage my girls to give me feedback, even on the food I make. But it's not. I don't always encourage it, but it's okay. If you don't like the food, make your own sandwich. What helps also is setting up some rules, like no requests in the early morning and no requests after 9 p.m. So this also helps me to rest a bit, to breathe, and to keep everything like structured and organized. And also, Heike, from our processes, like to have a ready-made meals in the fridge. So just in case I don't have time to cook, it will be easy for me to have something already prepared.
I love that, applying your consulting frameworks to your own.
Yeah, to real life.
Faten, is there something you want to add about a system that you have seen work effectively to balance both work and parenthood?
For me, honestly, I'm nodding as Zainab is going in terms of processes. So the one that's worked magic is like involving Bassam in like chores when it comes to. So no matter his age, so he's currently 4, but involving him in like cleaning windows or mopping the floor. It's things that really give him a sense of responsibility and works wonders in terms of distracting him when he's throwing a tantrum. So these are honestly some of the things I've implemented, and just balancing the patience. I think we're driven so much by having everything need to be resolved on the spot, that level of speed that we're racing against in our time. So they bring us back on the ground, as Marilyn was saying, in terms of staying grounded and teaching us how to be more patient on that. So my balance has always been like patience over chaos.
Love that. Marie, is
I
there
did,
something?
I did a lot of them. Yeah, I'm very happy to share. So there's one that the team knows about that is really important to me. Since I work from home, whenever they come back from school, I usually try to keep time in my calendar blocked, or if it's an internal meeting, it's fine. Like the team will be part of this conversation, like giving them really few minutes when they are back to school to come, say hi, talk about their day, and just like see me and feel that they can share what emotions they had or what happened during the day. I think it's very important, and that actually really created a balance for me because I can go back to my work in the afternoon knowing that I really had a good conversation with them and I gave them what they needed. And when I'm in a client meeting that is important and I have a presentation, I would close my door, put a sticky note on the door saying, I'm sorry, I'm in a meeting, I'll be done by this time. And then I will also tell the nanny to tell them the minute they come down from the bus that has the door closed now, you will be able to talk to her later. Like this process really worked because it really helped them like regulate after they come from their day at school. And I would say also another ritual I stole from Cosmic is the pits and peaks one. We do it a lot, like whenever we go on an outing or even for their day before they sleep. It creates a good, meaningful conversation around what happened in their day that made them happy and what happened in the day that maybe made them sad, and really gives me visibility on what's going on in their lives. So really love this tool. But yeah, I think there's so much more, but I let the other team members maybe share.
Tala, do you want to share?
Yeah, I thought I had a really direct answer, but actually, I think if I zoom out a bit, the systems thinking tool, it's actually any system that doesn't make your kids feel like they have to like earn your attention or earn your time is one that allows me to feel fulfilled at work and at home. Like being present when they come home from school really matters to my kids. And if I take that away from them, they'll feel like they have to like do something to earn attention, whether it's acting out or whether it's altering some version of themselves. And so being present in that way when it matters for them. So like uh, drop off, pick up, like bedtime and pick up is like important because then it's like, I'm here for you. You don't have to do anything. Like I am present despite working like a lot, you still get me, you know? And I think that like those rituals, those systems, those habits allow me to like I feel like I can manage both and right. I can be present at work and I can also be really present. And it's because I get to work remotely and because we have a flexible organization that I'm able to do both. But that allows me to show up as a better version of myself in both systems, right? So I don't feel like one takes away from the other. You design a system that, and every kid has different needs. So like it kind of goes back to that word about being adaptive. Like for those things that matters to my kids, and for some kids they're completely fine coming home and waiting until you're done working and seeing you then, and like that works just as well. Like it really just matters, you know, kid per kid. So yeah, any system that allows you to kind of balance is the one that I would say works best.
Thank you. These are really powerful rituals and systems, and I'm sure our audience are taking notes. I actually want to bring in a question from the audience. Cynthia here. How do you fit in self care between being needed at work and at home?
Yeah, I maybe want to take this one, and Tala, you can jump in. I think I this was something that I started thinking about before Gabby was born. And it was about not letting my identity melt into just being a mom. Because I could feel the pull. I'm like, she's not even born yet, and all I want to do is be this person's mother.
Mm.
Um, and so from this is something that I consciously did very early on, and I'm really glad I did. because I could see how I could have lost myself, which is to set boundaries and to accept that self-care is a form of mothering. Because I can't show up as a great mom. I can't be regulated. I can't feel good. I can't be patient, as Fatima was saying, if I constantly feel like everything is at the expense of me. And we always say this is the cliche: put your own mask before others, and so on and so forth. But it's the same for work. You know how I sometimes say, like, rest is a form of productivity, and self care is a form of mothering. You need all of these things. Otherwise, you don't show up as your best version. And that's what your kids need, even if they get less of it. But when you're there, you are the mother they need. That's better than being present all the time, but being a complete mess, which is what I would be if I didn't have at least a few hours a week where I get to focus on myself.
I'm guilty as charged for diving into erasing myself and just being a mom. So thank you, Marilyn, for giving that perspective. And to add to what you said, for sharing feedback on Cynthia, honestly, as the same way you would plan a birthday party or an activity to your kid, plan time for yourself. So whether it's a nail appointment that you need to take care of or hair that you need to do, just these small things that will just replenish your energy and allow you to give that space back to your kid in terms of just being there with him. So
Only when you take care of yourself, you can show up fully for everyone else. Zainab, I saw you put yourself up.
Delegate, delegate, delegate.
Yeah,
Delegate
delegation.
as much as you can.
Actually, Unsa, I'd love to add this from the chat, said, the mental load is so real. I found Fair Play, a book on dividing roles and tasks with your partner, to be a real helpful system too in transition towards parenthood and readopting roles. Again, delegating and dividing roles. So,
I
thank
want to
you, Unsa.
resonate with that. Actually, I love things. I also like, it's a good book. I think that, like, one of the key takeaways, especially in partnership and also when you are delegating, and it's that, like, we have different roles but equal value. And I think that, like, to say that, like, there are some things I won't delegate, right? And I don't want to. And also, for me, as a mom, I'm like really happy that that stays with me. And there is so much to delegate, and it's like, and then that then frees up your time. But I know a lot of us really struggle with this idea of, like, but, like, I want to do that, or it should be me, or I should have time for it, or I should be able to do everything. And kind of like what Fatin said earlier, like, realizing how much time, like, is constricted when you become a parent is absolutely nuts, and I don't know where the hours of the day go. But being able to delegate, and also, like, also keeping with you what you want to keep. Like, I don't want to delegate tracking, like, the schedule of the doctor's appointments. Like, I'm kind of controlling, and I really want to know what's happening at all of those. But if somebody wants to take them to gymnastics, they can. Like, I'm willing to relinquish. So I think, yeah, I like that lesson from that book too. And thanks for sharing. It's a good one.
Thank you, Tala. Of course, we know every system is not static and it is constantly evolving. As both your kids and careers grow, how do you adapt your systems to match the new reality?
You
Uh,
break them. Go, Mahi.
yeah. Now, I think as the kids grow, like there are more things that they can understand, and you can have them part of the system. And that's what worked for me, actually, like explaining early on. And I'm like, goes back to Nadine's question, by the way, very tough one, Nadine, in the chat. Like, being a working mom, how your kids perceive your work. Because first, when they're very little, like, they will see that actually you're busy and you're not giving them time, and it will really make them feel upset and frustrated, especially for the ones who work at home. Like, they see you at work and they see you away from them. I think as they grew up, like mine are now 9 and 5, they understand more, they understand boundaries more, and they understand why do I have to work. And that is also to provide for them, and that for them to have the things that they love and that they need, and like going to school and things like that. And becomes easier for them to understand the value of work and actually appreciate the efforts that you're doing, and really communicating more and more, and have them really being part of the system and understanding how the system works.
I also, my daughter started asking me really young because, like your eldest Marie, my daughter is very, like, philosophical. And maybe like as far as a year, like as early as she could talk, she's like, "Why do you work?" And I also like, I say because it is joyful to me.
Mm.
Like there's also often this, and then I say like, and by the way, work translates into this, and this is why we can be in this house and have all of these things. But also, I just really love it. I'd do it for free if I had to. And I think that it's like the chore thing. Like I once read that actually kids think that when we're doing a chores, it's a form of adult play, and they just want to play with us. Like that's why they really want to participate in chores, because they think it's how we play. And so I want Gabby to think this is how I play. I'm having a great time over here. I don't want her to think that I. And again, I'm lucky that I get to be to have a job that is like that. But I think it's so important, Marie. As you said, I explain it to her. I even now, it's really funny. Like I remember my mom now. I tell her about things that happened at work, conversations we had with a client. Like I really bring her in, and she loves that.
And also a nod to Tala's post yesterday on how they are actually mirroring us. So when our daughters or our sons are using their toy laptop to mirror the fact that we're in a meeting, and when Bassam tells me, "Mom, please don't talk to me. I'm on my desk. I have a client meeting." It means that they really understand our world. So that, and it's lovely just to bring them into that and not have a full separation of what it takes to be a professional and what it takes to be a mom, just involving them. So
That's beautiful. Actually, the first thing that came to my head is Tala's photo with Naya, with her little toy laptop.
I actually have a photo of me sitting on a old iMac back in the day doing kid pics, because my mom's worked my whole life. I watched her work, and mashallah, she's really amazing, and she had this like little setup for us. And so I remember like from the early days, she was like always encouraging us to kind of like uh be busy and be inspired by whatever it is. And she would take us to her office. Like she would always show us what it meant to be like at work and working. And also like she would say like, today I'm not going to go to work because I am going to come with you to this school field trip, for example. And I understood that that meant that, she wasn't doing something to be with me, and vice versa, right? So like I think that I hope that our kids see what I saw in that too, which is that like hard work is a really like it's something to value, and it's something to appreciate. And moms do it, dads do it, and it's super important. Like I hope they see it like that.
Yeah, it's a very important thing to teach them when they're young. I love this next question. What's something you had to let go of to make the system work?
Washing my hair more than twice a week.
I would say control. I like to be in control, but then when I watch them growing and doing things their way, which is not necessarily mine, I learn to accept that I need to let them be how they want to be, and I can step out of that. And that was a big lesson to me, because you always feel responsible for everything they do, but actually you're not. Like they have their own personality, their own way of thinking. You can shape it, but you cannot be responsible for everything. So I think that also helps really being more in peace with how much control you have.
I would say sleep first. Like the first thing that happened was I didn't sleep from 2022 to 2025, and now I sleep, thank God. So you really and I mean this kind of as a joke, but I also really like you learn how to operate, you become resourceful. You learn how to operate with a lot less time, a lot less mental bandwidth, a lot less of sleep, like. And you become like a version of yourself that's pretty heroic in some ways if you allow yourself to see yourself in that way. Like to say they're like, wow, like I did all of that and I was postpartum, like go me. or I ran this workshop and last night I woke up 6 times, right? Like, so you really like learn to let go of a lot, but in doing so you build yourself back like really, really strong. And it's impressive. Like any working parent, like chapeau to them, like because they get what it goes, so yeah.
Thank you for
What
that,
about
Tala.
Faten and Zainab? Zainab, by the way, we should say, of course, that you're about to
Yep.
re-enter into this experience. Maybe it's a good moment for you to set your intention about what you're going to let go when Liam comes.
Well, I was Heike, inspired by what you told me, and it's all about your mindset. So this time, I will benefit from this experience. I will try to enjoy my sleepless night. So, and of course, I think what's very important at family level is having a supportive husband, a support system, like you all said. My parents, my father and mother-in-law. So I will benefit from them being here and helping me, and also will rely on the kids to make it take it as a whole family experience. Um, so I will try to have a positive mindset about it, and let's see.
What about Faten? Yeah.
I thought of control as well. So Marie beat me to it, and the lack of sleep, of course, when Bassam was younger. And I think I just learned to let go of the guilt of the need to do everything all at once. And that was a big one for me because I struggled the first year on having to juggle everything at the same time and always feeling that whatever I was doing wasn't enough. So that was a big one for me.
Lovely. What's one rule, spoken or unspoken, that keeps your household sanity in check?
Marie has many. Totally. One rule that keeps our household or our sanity in check. Two different things, by the way, because the household and the lack of sanity are intertwined.
So it's your
So,
household sanity.
oh, the sanity of my household.
Yeah.
Hmm. Weekly planning. And it's the same for work. We have a little thing on our fridge and we say what activities there are for every day of the week. If we're feeling incredibly proactive, we'll also list the meals that are there. Listen, just to know who's doing what, who's arranging this. We do it on Sunday mornings while we're having coffee, and it just keeps things moving because then if I'm not there, it's written on the fridge and nobody needs to ask me a question anymore.
That's a great strategy.
I'm gonna put it this way. I share this a lot. When something happens that like, because again, when the household sanity like breaks down, it's more of a mental model than a rule per se. But I always say this, and you guys have heard me say this. I'm like, is Gabby gonna tell her therapist about this in 25 years? And if she isn't, I let it go. I'm like, we are fine. Nothing's gonna happen. I did not break my child. We're all okay.
I would say also, like we do at work, the regular check-ins, like in the morning, how did you sleep? Did you have a bad dream? How was it? When they come back from school, like Marie said before, how was your day? Are you feeling well? Do you need help? How is um, your study? How is school? So the regular check-in, it helps a lot to avoid insanity and chaos.
For me, it's use your words. So just be 100% yeah. And just remove the tantrum and tell me how you really feel. Feelings are valid. We hear them out and we can move forward. Otherwise, it's just going to be chaos in the room. So,
That's a really good one. We can
I
go
think
on forever.
Yeah, I think for me, I would add something maybe that's more about how, like, as a couple, we deal with this because a lot of the sanity of the house also comes from like the relationship that is between the parents. I think what worked for us is the alternation. Like there's no one person who does one thing all the time. Like whoever is more available, who has more bandwidth, and we can swap roles in every single type of responsibility we have as a parent, depending on our availability, and that works. Like I think that's important to know that you can rely on someone else when you are not able to do something, or you really need time to rest, or really need time for yourself. I think it helps, like, to feel that you are not the only person who's able to do everything.
Nadine has a beautiful reflection in the chat that I want to share. Great exchange, Cosmic Moms. You changed a lot of my own perspective on how much intention you put in raising your kids, doing great work, and being compassionate with yourself. Lots of love. The journey is not easy and flowing as your beautiful smile, but you are making it every day. Thank you, Nadine.
Thank you, Nadine.
Thanks, Nadine.
Honestly, you guys have been sharing so many beautiful stories, strategies, and personal reflections. I can keep this going, but before we let you go, I want to extract that last piece of wisdom with a few rapid fire questions, which we switched up for the purpose of this very special webinar. I'm gonna, you know the drill. I'm gonna start the sentence and I'm gonna ask you to finish it. The first one is the most effective system I've ever designed as a mom is. Faten, you're the first on the screen.
My current bedtime system is working really well. Between dinner time, telling a story, and then him falling asleep, so it's been magical.
Mary.
I say my morning routine actually. Like I really like. I think the way your day starts is very important for how the rest of the day is gonna happen. So I really put the effort in teaching them how to like be responsible in the morning, do their stuff, be ready for the bus on time. They have a clock in their room. They know how much time they have left, etc. I think this really relieves a lot of stress from the morning. So I'm happy about that.
Zeinab.
Yes, I can relate to what Tala said previously. The grocery list that we make together as a family, the weekly planning, the rituals that we do, and setting up the rules. Like a no is a no, and it's real, so it helps a lot. And that's mainly it.
Zainab, I love how assertively you set boundaries.
No negotiation.
Love that so much. Tala, most effective system you've designed.
Honestly, I agree with Fatin, and I aspire to be like Marie. My bedtime routine is super sharp. Like it's to the nines, all good. Everyone's asleep. We read books. We actually enjoy it. My morning routine could use some work, so I'm gonna reach out to Marie and see what she's doing.
It gets easier when they're a bit older, but I'm not
Yeah.
yet in the teenage years, so call me back in 2 years.
You're
Like
in
I
the
don't think it's
spot.
gonna be the same.
Yeah.
Marilyn.
Yeah, I have two things. They're very different from each other. First is, even though I love food and I love cooking, I realized 2 years ago that I just couldn't do all of it. This is not an advertisement. They haven't paid me to say this, but I outsourced my family's entire like food problem to Hello Chef and Li Wei, who reads the recipe, gets them done. Like all I have to do is be like, oh, we could eat these 5 things out of this 30 list. And still, when I want to cook, I'll do it. But this has like transformed my life. And the other one is very much, I echo with Zainab, setting strong boundaries. I literally say this to my daughter. I'm like, this, we are not negotiating this one. I am telling you what to do. I use those words. And now she knows them. So she knows that when I say I am not negotiating, there will be no change of opinion here. So she lets go. And that really creates a lot of sanity.
When all else fails, my parenting philosophy is.
Not suitable for a webinar.
Yes, I'm not sure we can use those words out loud. Tala and I have the same one, actually. Tala, you want to give us the acronym at least?
Yeah, it's FAFO. fool around and find out. But I think it's like it is that, and it's also when all else fails, like it's really just like take a deep breath, get on your knees, look at your kid, look them in the eye, remove yourself from the situation if it's too much. Like just the basic emotional regulation that we offer to any manager that we work with, we apply the same with the kids because after all, we are their supremest leaders.
I would say I'm very lucky to have a very supportive husband who's always there. He's the audit, he's the controller, he's the financial supporter, he's everything. So I'll delegate to him. Khalas, go to Ayman. I'm done. So when things get tough, it's always him.
Faten?
For me, it's when all else fails, it's just love unconditionally and just let go of perfection.
So I
Yeah, I
have two
totally.
more. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just yeah, I think nothing that like really, as Tala and Faten said, like be at their level, show them that it's all can be fixed, and then love and hugs, and there's nothing that maybe will get in the way of that.
Yeah. I have two modes and they're dependent on how tired I am, but I embrace both of them. So if I'm in a good place, what you just said, name her emotions for her, because that's the most, as you said, Fatin too, like Tala, you taught me that. You're like, get her an emotions wheel. And honestly, it changed my life. So I'm like, oh, you're angry at me because I did that, or this is how you're feeling. And that's always a magic trick. And then we give each other a hug, and then she's fine. That's on good days. But on bad days, I definitely go back to like Lebanese mommyhood. And I'll never forget there was one day where it was so bad. She was so tired. I was so tired. The tantrum was so horrible. I'm not ashamed to say I put her in the bathroom and I closed the door because it was that or kill her. And so sometimes I find myself going back to like being a real Lebanese mom. And in my head, I'm laughing while I'm doing it. But I'm like, honestly, it's the only way I don't hurt somebody right now. And I embrace both just the same because it's okay that I have days where I'm not the best version of myself. And that just makes me human. And she will learn to not have to be perfect either.
That's beautiful. Before we wrap up, I'd like to thank you all so much. This was super fun and super insightful at the same time. I'm sure I'll come back to this when I become a parent someday. um, and thanks to everyone, of course, that tuned in. We will be reposting this video on our social media, YouTube, and website. And if you want to share this session with anyone who couldn't join us today, just send them the LinkedIn page. Um, for more insights on this topic, join our upcoming sessions, which you can find right here on our LinkedIn page or our website, www.cosmiccentaurs.com. You can subscribe to our newsletter and follow us on social media to make sure you don't miss our future events. The next one is actually with a returning Cosmic Conference speaker, Reese Dong, Associate Director of Organizational Development Approach, who actually spoke about system thinking for the very first time in our 2022 conference. This year, she will return to share how leaders can design systems that transform large organizations. Join us right here on LinkedIn Live next Tuesday at 5 p.m. Dubai time. Thank you once again for being with us, and we hope to see you at the next one.